All right. That's right. We are live.
Hey
It is
now.
Tuesday night once again. Fruitcake Tony, Charles Greene, and Ed DeBrill holding up some cool inside magazines. Nice, Ed.
Oh no, what happened? Hold on. Sorry
Charles, how
about
you
that.
doing, bro?
I'm doing well. I hope everyone is doing great. It's beautiful here in North Carolina. Got a little rain, a little thunderstorm came through this evening,
Oh, you got one? Okay.
but it's all good right now.
Yeah, it has been nice here in Carolina. Ed is um up the coast a ways, but it's still nice up there, Ed.
Beautiful day, man.
Mhm.
It was almost 70 degrees, and we're close to the ocean. We're 25 miles from the ocean, so every once in a while you'll get an ocean breeze
Nice.
that cools things down a little bit. But today it was almost 70, so that's not bad for New England this time of year. Yeah, I didn't get out much today. I was in the office most of the day, but the guys told me they enjoyed it. You know, they enjoyed working out there. No rain whatsoever, and just beautiful, sunny.
Nice.
Can't ask for more.
I know that's how it was here, and it's been that way for a couple days. Looks to be all week here. But once we do warm up and we start getting into the mid 80s regularly, then we start getting the afternoon style storms. And they can be every day here, Charles.
Yeah, and we're going to go through it. It's all good. We're wide open. I switched to shorts official this morning. It was 83 degrees or something yesterday.
Nice.
And oh, yeah, man, it's on.
Yeah,
Bring
it,
it.
it
Bring it.
was nice to wake up to a balmy 65.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to wear shorts,
Oh, yeah, dude.
but
Bro.
my my legs are nothing to look at, so gotta wear some sunglasses for a while before you
Those
can look at
days
them.
are fastly approaching. Yeah. Um, but it is Tuesday, guys, and this is Halenville Live. We are going to talk about embracing all of the Van Halen eras. I know for myself, I can only speak for me. You love all the eras, but you like one or two more than others, you know. So we should give some eras that we don't listen to often some more love and attention, and we're going to go into that and each era and why they don't get the cred that they should.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, we're all looking at a couple of, and we'll get there. Um, you know,
Is is that you just moved a little bit? Is that shirt what I think it is? What do you got? You got anything on the back of that one? Ooh,
Van Halen 3, yeah.
oh, there you go.
Yeah, that there is something on
So
the.
you're showing some love for Van Halen 3.
You can
Oh,
see
look at
that.
that.
Man,
Yeah.
man, represent, brother.
Yeah,
Nice.
I like it. I like
That
it.
was
Nice.
the radio thing. There's something. I don't know what this.
Oh, wow.
Um,
What does that say? What's that say, Tony?
Warner Brothers something.
Nice.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Warner Brothers label.
Cool.
Wow. Man, you got all the swag.
Van Halen 3, yeah. Now I've
King
had
of
this a
swag,
while.
Ed. He's the king of fucking swag, I swear.
I had this a while, but I hadn't worn it in a while. You know.
Yep.
Um,
Showing Van Halen 3 some love. I like it.
hmm
Why not, you know?
Why
Absolutely.
not?
It's all Van
We're
Halen.
right. Um, we're going to get into all of that. Um, we're going to talk a little Mammoth WVH. hmm We're going to talk a little more into Van Halen 3, the album. You know, the um, yeah, and we're going to look at all the eras and their music. Yeah, we're also tonight we're gonna have a little break about the hour mark, and we're gonna pull some nearly impossible Van Halen trivia.
All right.
And how that works is I'll take a break and go to the fridge and take a pee. Make sure you come right back. I'll give you plenty of time to do that. But I'm going to ask you a very, very difficult Van Halen question. It's nearly impossible most of the
It
time.
ain't easy. It ain't easy. I'll give them
So
that.
every sixth or seventh week, nobody gets it because it's on the of impossible, you know. But it is rather difficult for tonight, as it should be. And but Van Halen fans, they know their
They'll
stuff.
su- they'll surprise you, man.
Cannot write them hard enough. You cannot. Um,
Yeah.
Let me see here. Yeah, so for prizes for tonight, we've given away a slew now of those lovely ToneChaser guitar picks from Steve Rosen that have Eddie on each side of those, and a lot of you have won those. But for tonight, there is new prizes in the house. I am here to tell you this is what we're going to give away for you tonight. We're going to give you some dough to start with. We'll give you $1,000,000 Van Halen bucks, just like that. All right. All right. And we're going to give you a 2024 Mean Street Jay Turner guitar pick. Look.
Whoa.
Those are so cool.
Oh.
I love that graphic.
Jeff
It looks really
Louise.
good on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
And they do have shirts with this image.
Can I show one, Tony, when you're done? Can I
Can.
show?
Yeah.
Let me grab one.
There's a link down below for Mean Street on
Wow.
Facebook. You'll find them there. Plus, there's a link to their merch store, and they got a bunch of stuff. Mean Street, North Carolina Van Halen, North Carolina's premier Van Halen tribute. Excuse me. But yeah, go hit those links. They got some great looking shirts. And we're also going to give you this pick too.
Oh, that's so cool.
Both of the picks. Yeah. So, and if that's not enough, and I have a bunch of these too, of all kinds, but we're going to throw you in a Mean Street window decal. You can go right on the back of your Mercedes, Charles.
Look beautiful, man. It look good on a 4-wheel drive truck too.
Mm-hmm. It would, right in the middle, right on the little window that you slide. Yeah. So that'll all go to the winner of Nearly Impossible Van Halen Trivia for
That's
tonight.
badass.
So Jay Turner, thank you so much.
Hey, Tony, let me show that in a shirt, bro.
Let's check it out.
Check that out. It's super cool, man. I'm going to say this shirt. I'm not wearing it until I'm going to go see Hagar with Tony here in just a few weeks. And I just think it's the coolest damn shirt I've seen in a long time.
Yes,
Very
sir.
cool, guys. Very
Nice.
cool. Boom.
Wow.
Right on. Yeah, so you'll find a bunch of you think there's many variations of the Mean Street guitar picks. They got a bunch of different shirts and all kind of stuff in their merch store. Um, and if you only buy one or two things, you'll have a ball shopping there. It's a cool store. Yeah, yeah. And for those of you in the North and South Carolina, maybe East Tennessee area, um, do check on Mean Street in your area. Sometime they venture across state lines. Um, yeah, they do. Um,
You take those ankle bracelets off, but they can venture.
I'm sure
Man.
a lot of us as Van Halen fans have seen at least a couple Van Halen tribute bands. Okay, Mean Street, yeah, they're our friends, but these guys they play the music to the letter, like the record. Okay, and then there is Benny. Okay, and if you get to know him even just a little bit, he fits that David Lee Roth. You ain't even got to hear him sing.
He
Just talk
shakes his
to
ass just
him.
like Dave, guys. I mean, to say it like that.
Just get to know him, and yeah. Um,
You have to be a special individual to try to imitate David Lee Roth. You
well, you do,
you
but
know.
I think that in itself, Ed, what you just said is the whole key missing ingredient in 9 out of 10 of them.
Yep.
That's the there's just the something missing, and that's usually it.
Yep. That
They
that
have
that that charisma.
elaborate stuff. They play the music
Yep.
to the letter. Yeah, but it's just the one little. Yeah,
It's true.
so just saying though. That's why
Yep.
I like them. You know.
I can see why. Yeah, Benny's a special guy. He's very outgoing and charismatic, and that's what you want. And he can sing.
I was so damn entertained. I got to tell you, I can't wait to see those boys again.
I know. We
It
do
was a
got to go check
wonderful,
them out
wonderful
here
show.
one weekend, Charles. We do. Um, I think Jay. I could be mistaken. I think Jay said he had a gig the day after the Hagar show.
Really,
Yeah.
he is committed. He's so committed.
I wish they would travel. That would be great. I mean,
Now that it's hitting my mind, and he has a car show
oh,
the day after the Sammy Hagar show. That's
oh,
what it
he's
was. Yeah.
bringing Herbie with him.
Um. Yeah, I would imagine. I would imagine.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool, man. Right on.
Nice.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. We're gonna open up the chat here, guys, and see who
All
is
right.
hanging out with us. Yeah. So Charles, we're counting down now to May 10th on a Friday. Um, we're going to be going live here on the channel. So everybody go ahead and mark your calendar. May 10th, Friday, early evening live stream. I hear.
Woo. All right.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. It's going to be a really nice couple of days for me. I'm doing Steel Panther in Greensboro on the 9th with my daughter Ashley. If you want to do something from there, you just let me know. We'll hook it up.
Right
But
on.
then I'll be coming back, waking up in the morning. Got just a couple of things I'm going to do. I got like 2.5 hours of driving. I'm heading up. I'm going to meet up with you. We're going to
Nice.
catch these boys. It's going to be wonderful.
You know, it's really cool though, you know, being able to go to these shows, you know, not having the luxury health wise for me, plus bad luck on the concert scene, plus COVID a couple years back,
Hmm.
you know, but it's going to be nice to go to these shows. But this May show in Cherokee that we're going to, I'm gonna go up early that morning. Um, so I'm gonna stay up there that night. I've already got my room at the on the place, the Cherokee Grand Hotel. Um,
That's the way to do
so,
it.
but interesting enough, my neighbors who I've known for ever and ever and ever have a place up there, which is just about 11, 12 miles away. And
Nice.
they're going to be up there. They spend time, you know, which a lot of people do
Mm-hmm.
in the mountains in here, or,
Oh, yeah.
you know, get out of the cold like that.
Hmm.
But yeah, so they'll
Wow.
be up there. So I'm going to go see them.
Very cool.
Yeah, on the way up there and hook up with you. And we got to be at the venue 3:15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3:15. Wow. Oh, meet and greet. That's right.
But my plate it's right there. So, you
Oh,
know.
Tony, actually, I got an update just now. So, Main Street will be in Lancaster, South Carolina, at the Benford Brewery the following day after the show. Not a car show.
Okay.
They
Oh,
just sent me a message to let
Oh,
you
I
know.
was right. All right.
You were right. You were correct.
All right. Okay.
And damn, Lancaster, South Carolina, from me, 30 minutes away.
Is it
Yeah,
Charles?
straight down the 77 out of Charlotte, babe.
Let's
Right,
go, man.
right. It's there,
Let's
dude. I mean,
go. Let's do
seriously,
that.
it's the same distance as it is from
It,
Salisbury.
so it's the day after the Sammy Hagar show.
Yes.
All right. Let's go, dude.
that'd be 3 shows in a row for Charles.
Jay Turner, here we come.
I am so down to catch Steel Panther,
Oh
and then
man.
go to Cherokee and catch WVH, and then go check and just finish it all off with Mean
Go to
Street.
South
That would be,
Carolina. See me. Hell yeah.
dude, I
Trifecta.
may have to wear my Mean Street T-shirt to go see Mean Street. Oh my
There you
goodness,
go.
damn. Well,
All right.
I'm there, guys. I'm there.
Uh,
I love this stuff. This is so cool.
Yeah.
wow.
This will be fun.
Wow, wow.
We've been meaning to go see Jay again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go from no shows to a bunch.
Oh, they are that good. They are that good.
That's cool though. That's the day after. Um, we'll do a those of you familiar with the channel here, that's we do show me your pick on Saturdays. So if we're in Lancaster, South Carolina at Mean Street, we'll incorporate that, Charles, with our episode. Yeah,
Yeah.
somehow, some way.
Done deal.
Yeah, dude.
Hey, we got to say hello to this chat, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
it's-
open up the chat.
I'll be right back.
All right. Had a coffee and hadn't even opened up chat, Charles.
It's all right.
All right. I'm going to do it the wrong way.
Wrong way. Hey, there's no wrong way to address the
Start
chat,
at the
is there?
bottom. Yeah. All right. Let's see who is hanging out with us tonight. The lovely Patty Deal. Hello, Patty.
It's good to see
Nice
you,
to see
Patty.
you, ma'am.
Very good to see you, sweetie. Right on.
Always good to see you. John Deshane is right behind her. Good to
Right on,
see you,
John.
John.
Right
Hope
on,
you're
bro.
doing good, man.
Bam.
OU812 crew. All Dave, all night, Charles.
Good to see you,
In
Dave.
the house.
Right on, brother.
R2, R3 locking nut, our Van
Right
Halen
on, R2.
brother.
R2.
Yep, he's on the OU crew over there, as is Trev. What's up, Trev?
Oh, Travis,
Trev.
good to see you,
Good to see
Trev.
you,
Right
dude.
on, brother. Right on, man.
All righty, and there's the captain of the O crew. Of that, yeah, the OU812. That's Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern. They get together and jam, and I cut it on here and open Linda's and cook and let my neighbors hear you guys play. You know this, don't you? But yeah, so go check those guys out. They do a show on Thursdays, also 8 p.m. You know,
Trans Trim Thursday.
yeah,
Right on, man. It's good to see you, Ryan. Right on, man.
yeah. Nice to see you, dudes. Mr. Boner Jams, what's up, bro?
Boner.
Right on. Right
Good
on,
to
bro.
see you, dude. That's the under the bus. That's the Wednesday. That's our Wednesday YouTube hangout right there, Charles.
That's it. That is the place to be.
Who
Hope you're
doesn't?
doing good, bro. Good to see you,
Right
man.
on, man. It's
Hope
good
you're
to see you,
keeping it
Boner.
in the short grass, you know?
Ah, yeah.
That's it. Shorty grass. All right. I'm going to continue here. Nice to see you, Boner Jams. Hip Metal Works in the house.
It's
What's
good to
up,
see
Hip.
dude?
you.
What's
Right
up,
on,
buddy?
brother. Right on,
Good to see
man.
you, man. Guitar Man 45. What's up,
Oh,
All
right
right.
on, man. Hey, I loved you on Ben's channel.
yeah,
What's up,
man.
Bo?
Very cool,
Absolutely
brother.
good to see you over there.
Right
Always
there.
good to see you, Bo. Hope you're doing good. Man, I'm supposed to be scrolling up, but I'm scrolling back down. I'm gonna scroll up. All right. If you are just joining, say hello in the chat. It is Tuesday. All right. Let me see here. Randy Price.
Randy.
Speaking of the
Good to see you,
OU
Randy.
crew.
Right on, bro.
Good to
Good
see
playing,
Randy.
buddy.
Hell yes.
What's up? We may see Randy hopefully at one of these shows here this summer, Charles.
Nice.
Yeah, hope to, Randy.
Yes.
His
You
new
are
guitar
close,
is
bro.
spectacular.
Isn't that thing beautiful?
I love it. Oh man.
Oh, yeah, dude.
All right. Have I said all Dave, all night?
Yeah, but you can say Dave again because Dave rocks. Man.
Sure.
Dude,
You could say it all night.
that's right. Christopher Live so
There's the man, the
Oh,
myth,
good
the
to see you,
legend.
Christopher. Right on, man.
Christopher.
You want to win trivia, you got to get past this dude
Right. That's right.
because he is the king.
How many? How many say I?
Yeah. All righty. There's No Man's Land. What's up, dude?
Hey, no
Oh,
man's
man.
land.
Very
What's
cool.
up, brother?
Good to see you, man. All right. I'm
Right on,
scrolling upward. We are going to the top.
Love the green stripes.
Al's G, good to see you, dude.
Els, what's going on, brother?
It's good to see you, Al. It's right on, man. Very cool.
Always good to see you guys. I know a lot of times, like myself and a lot of you, you don't like to always type in the chat and you like to lurk and do things. You might be doing laundry or whatever while you do that, you know.
Hmm?
Cooking some steak
But
tips.
yeah, do say hello at least once if you are if you're out there. I'm gonna scroll back down now. All right, let me see. Wall of Cries, good to see you, man.
What's up,
Right
buddy?
on, Walla Cries. Good to see you.
All
Very cool.
right. Okay, we're scrolling down all the way to the bottom. All right, I think I'm all the way down there. All right, everyone, it's so nice to see you dudes. Happy Tuesday. Hope your week's going well. Hope your spring's going well. Yeah,
Right on.
yeah. All right. Okay, welcome. All right, so now let me start by asking Ed. You were asking me in the green room, and I'm going to just ask you.
Hmm.
We know that you, Ed, are you love all the eras, but you prefer the Sammy era is your thing.
Yes.
Okay, so which era do you like the least, or have issues with, or listen to the least?
Um, this one,
Okay,
and it's not because I'm not going to say hate.
you don't
Um,
have to. You don't
no,
have just come. You don't
I
have to. You spit it, baby.
my reasoning is all right. It's Eddie. It's Eddie's guitar. It's Alex playing. It's Michael. It's Van Halen. But I didn't like the mix. Gary has a tremendous voice. You can't deny that. And it was Ed's baby, and I don't think it was produced well. There was the bass was you couldn't really hear Mike too much, and um, some of the songs were good. I liked Fire in the Hole. I liked the a year to the day, the way it built up, and crescendo, and Gary was amazing on that one. But just the overall production of the album, um, I was excited when they went on tour, and I love that Gary played all eras. Speaking of all eras, I was
Yeah.
I freaked out when Eddie started playing Mean Street at the concert, um, and some other ones that they didn't play as often, or that Sammy didn't like. Um, but yeah, that would be my least favorite. And I look at these eras as children, and um, and maybe you don't want to admit it, but maybe you might like one kid better than the other. You never know.
Well, I mean, all of us,
You love them all.
no matter what band, you dive back into whatever old stuff that you know.
Yeah, and it's
So,
fun. It's funny that we're talking about this. I just pulled this CD out the other day and just started listening to it before we even decided to talk about it, and
right,
um, and I enjoyed it. I did, but compared to the other eras, the reason why I like the Sammy era better is probably because I've seen more shows with Sammy, and I've had tremendous, great times at concerts, and I loved it. I loved it. Just having those memories with friends and family, and being at a show and listening to your favorite band. Nothing beats that. And that's the reason why I like Sammy the most, I guess. Besides his musicianship and his singing and stuff. He lacks a little in the lyrics department sometimes. Um, you can only talk about food and sex and
Fucking
you know,
love songs. Give me a break.
you know, and love and you know. But anyway,
And
yeah,
he loves a good love song. Sammy has always loved
he,
love
yeah,
songs. That's
he's
it.
always embraced it. You know,
Yeah.
that's
But
what we're doing. We're embracing all eras. Um,
Ed, but on that note, you said during the Sammy era, you built memories with family and friends. Okay, so when Van Halen comes back around
mhm,
and they crank into Unchained, but Gary Sharon, who's cut his hair, is singing the
mhm,
song.
yeah,
Doesn't at after all those fond memories that you had with that era,
mhm.
doesn't it make you go like, oh God, that's what it made me do at first.
Oh God, like you were taken aback and you didn't
No,
like it, or you
like
just wow,
like
he brought
it
Unchained.
was it was to me it the guy can sing like hell. I love his extreme stuff, but it was like it could have been any audience member on that stage singing those songs. I
Yeah, I
mean,
see what you're saying.
it
Yeah,
wasn't
it didn't
Dave or
fit.
Sammy.
It didn't fit as well. Is that what you're
It
saying?
didn't. It was like it was weird
Yeah.
to me. You know, I did cozy up to the album and the hits. I did.
Hmm.
Okay, but it is what it is, and you know, I love what Eddie, and we'll get into this too, Ed. What he wanted to do with that album. He tried to, but I do think though overall, and they worked on a lot of stuff, a lot of material. I just think it overall unfinished, you
Yeah.
know,
It was.
unfinished.
It sounded adult contemporary to me. What once was a great song, but
Like
I get
like
just.
the ideas were all there.
Mhm.
Like yes, but then you know, I mean, I don't know. It just to me overall seemed unfinished.
And it makes me wonder how much of that music was left over from Sammy, from him leaving the band. What were they working on for the next album after Balance, and what was included
Right.
in Van Halen 3 from post Balance, touring.
Well, you got you know you got Roth there, Gary Sharon, Mitch Malloy. You had a lot
Hmm.
of things happening
Yeah.
at that time, and they were really late '90s. After Balance, they, were- they were unsure. You know, once
Yeah.
again.
It seemed like Eddie was, yeah, exactly. He was unsure and he was grasping. He was grasping to get back out
Yeah,
there.
I just think that overall, too, though, I didn't. I thought it was slightly weird when they got Sammy Hagar, but I
Hmm.
thought it was cool
Yeah.
immediately.
Yep.
But when they got him, it just felt to me initially, it felt like that he just grabbed his jam buddy and said, "Hey, man, I don't have a singer. Let's make a record." You know.
Right. And I think some of this kind of stuff might have been involved when Gary went to visit Eddie, and Gary was sort of a kept man in the guest house, and he you know, and Eddie said, "Oh, this is my soul brother. This is the the new Van Halen. This is the way it should be, and blah blah blah. And he talked it up a lot when
Yeah,
in those
well,
interviews.
they were optimistic, and
Yeah.
of course you got to be, and they got the record done,
Mm-hmm.
went on tour, um, but it made Eddie angry when he can see before his eyes, you know, empty halls, it was it wasn't,
Yeah.
and just it, I don't know, you know, he there was no way of knowing live. Gary was kind of a wild man on stage with Extreme, if you think about it.
Right.
So I mean, it just for me and for a lot of Van Halen fans, it just didn't go well live. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care what shape Eddie was in at that time.
Right.
That was to this. Gary, I went and saw it. It was Eddie shaped that, and Eddie had not a great night here in Raleigh, and it was secondary. It was secondary to the you go, and it's like ah it's like they fucking got just anybody, and that's the way I felt, and that's don't hang me for it, but that's how I felt, and it took me a while. See, I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a while to cozy up to it, but like you did this week or last week, Ed, where you just out of the blue, let's listen to Van Halen 3. Why
Yeah.
not? And just leave it in for a week or two and
Yeah.
just
Just
wear it the hell
yeah.
out.
Exactly. I just happened to be looking through my CDs and I found the tin. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I had this special edition tin thing. And what the hell? I'll put it in. So I put it in. And I listened to it all the way through. You know, and
Um, I
and it was all right. I enjoyed it. Because any Van Halen is good for me. Um, I think they shouldn't have chosen Mike Post as a producer. I really don't.
y- well,
I
I
I don't.
mean, they got him. Eddie got him
Yeah,
Hmm.
Eddie got him.
because he was the only one he knew who wasn't an addict or who was sober. You
Yeah.
know, is what he said.
Well, and who would say yes to Eddie no matter what Eddie said?
That's
That's
good
pretty much what
observation, man.
that's what I'm
Absolutely.
thinking.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Whatever
Yeah.
whatever Eddie said, I think Mike did it. I don't think Mike took the reins and took over the production. I think he was just there to assist.
I'm not going to share it up, but what we're getting at is there's an article on the Van Halen news desk of Mike Post, and he
Hmm.
talks about that record, and the perspective that he gives is that Eddie wanted to do everything on it himself, and they had to talk to Alex, about Eddie playing drums, and Eddie played, and it wasn't as good as Alex, and
Yeah.
everybody listening knew it,
Hmm.
you know. Um, but all that is in that Mike Post
But
article.
there's some great
It is
songs.
interesting, yeah.
There's some great songs on that album that I really enjoy, and there's some stinkers as well. But you could say that about a lot of albums. There's a lot of filler in a lot of albums. Nowadays it's you buy singles. You
Well,
don't you don't buy
I'll
albums.
I'll give you an example. Historically, me as a Van Halen fan, yeah, I'm all Dave like that, but I love all the eras. But we did a show here a couple of years ago, and we rated the Van Halen albums, all the studio albums.
Hmm.
Okay. And the one that came in last place for me was the Balance album.
Oh, okay.
It
Oh, I
was.
think I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And me saying that now, I'm ashamed, but 6 months after that show, um, if I'd have redone the show, it'd be in the top five now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, what prompted you to sort of change your mind?
John Conklin.
Okay.
We did a show, and he was like, you know, and I gave it some love, and you know, got
Huh.
hooked for a while, and yeah.
So one thing that kind of turned me off too was the song Josephina. I don't think Eddie should be singing lead ever. Maybe background. Turn his mic down a little bit and let him sing background. But he shouldn't be singing lead. It almost sounded like he wanted to sound like Roger Waters. You know, it was that's what I had to feel. It's almost like he wanted that kind of sound that I mean, and I know he worked with Roger a lot, on Lost Boys and Lost Boys Calling, and I forget the name of the album that was on, but um, it, it it sounded Pink Floydish, sort of like a spoken word sort of song, and I didn't like it. But
Charles, here in a little while, I'm going to ask you the same two questions.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, when we talk about these eras that we don't necessarily like, and some people feel strongly about certain eras than others, and I love them all. It's all Eddie and Alex. It's all Van Halen, right?
yeah. Oh, how
So,
many say I think that's the song I'm thinking of. No Man's Land. Thank you. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, it was How Many Say I is the one I didn't really like.
Okay.
That
Okay.
sound
Okay.
like Roger Waters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I'm with you
Thank
there
you.
now. I'm with you there. Right
Longmore
on.
Tapes, good to see you, dude.
All right, Morris. Good to see you, brother. Right on, man.
Um, but I think it's important to look, and you think you're looking at, wow, how to get this tone, and you see this tone evolve. Um, so, but the all of the eras are important, and I think that it gives me a new appreciation for hearing old Van Halen when
Hmm.
I spend time with an era like Van Halen 3. You know, I'm not going to say anything horrible, but you know, Gary Sharon really should. I mean, they needed a singer, but he should have never been in Van Halen. You know, he did his job. He did the best he could. You know, he is a very creative guy. Him and Nuno, Pat made great music, and they clicked.
Hmm.
Um, I just think that overall that record, I said it wasn't done. It just feels like every song is unfinished. I just think that if Eddie had a done everything himself and just did it like that, Still call it Van Halen, whatever, you know. Um,
Hmm.
but
I
I do think that you know we talk about Wolfgang Van Halen doing all of the instruments and vocals on his record. And his dad put that in him, you know.
He was 8 years old.
He knew good and well from the start that he would need no other he would not need a band, you know.
right.
Maybe to hit the road with, but he would not need a band in order to make music like he really wanted to make, you know. And he had resources too all around him, you know. So, um, but it was, I think it was inevitable that Wolf do everything himself, you know. I think his dad taught him that, you know, and not all the answer. Yeah, of course, all that, but just the simple fact of the best way to do this is you do everything yourself, you know. I think that's what he was taught. Um, so
Yeah, I think from 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 Dave, you know, the Dave era. Obviously, everybody loves the Dave era because, like I said, I'm going back to the children analogy. They were the first. That was the first child. That era was the first kid, the one that got spoiled, the one that everybody loved, and um, you know, they you can't, you know, other than maybe Diver Down. You know, it's a lot of covers, and I think that album was rushed. Um, you can't say anything bad about the original Van Halen, the classic Van Halen. Different kind of truth. Yeah, it was great. It was great. It was nostalgic. It brought back those old. Um, you know, if you were in the know, you knew that. Oh, I've heard these melodies and music before. But that's okay. Um, and then to go from that to Sammy, and that was kind of a kick in the face at first. I was in shock. I said, "What
a
the hell
kick
is
in the
going?
face. What do you
What the
mean?
hell? Well, what the hell is going on here? What's you know? You
I
go
didn't
from
mind. I didn't mind him. I liked him and I liked him in Van Halen at first,
hmm
but I didn't like that first song that they gave us. I was like, ah.
That's what I'm
Anyway,
saying. Yeah.
what were you saying, Ed?
Um, you know what was it? Why can't this be love? So
Yeah,
you go from bombastic partying, you know, balls to the wall, Panama, and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden you hear a ballad with a whole bunch of synthesizers and mushy lyrics, and didn't quite, you know, fit the bill at first. But you know, you, you know, like, you know, giving it a listen, um, more and more. You know, it grew on me, and then eventually I'm like, you know what, this ain't bad.
I
And
always loved the keyboard stuff, even from the start. I instantly, and even um, Love Walks In and the ones from the next album. I loved all the keyboard
yep,
stuff, all of it. Loved it.
let me ask you guys this: um, if they would have stuck with Dave, just say everybody was getting along and they stuck with Dave. Eddie wanted to do more keyboard stuff, just, you know, like in 1984, and you know he obviously did that with 5150. What do you think the songs would have sounded like if Dave was still in the band and doing the lyrics? Do you think that they would have been better than what Sammy did,
Well,
or we're speculating, obviously?
if you look at both of their successes after 1984, ultimately that if they'd have stayed together, it would have been the biggest album they ever did.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Because they were the biggest band in the world in 1984.
Yeah. And just the whole everything around them said, you you are king on the hill. And
Right.
even in breakup and getting a new singer and there's division, they were still growing in popularity.
That's
Okay,
true. That's
still,
true.
and both found successes that they never found with each other. But that was inevitable, Charles, with what was going on around everybody in music. They plus what they had done in 1984 or up, then and back. They were the biggest band in the world, and they could have broadened that. Um, I think, yeah. So, Charles, I want to ask you these questions. Now, you're big Roth era guy. We all know that. Um, of all of the eras, what era do you like the least or have an issue with that makes you not listen as much?
Um, well, I consider Van Halen 3 to be one of the most special Van Halen albums that's ever been produced. The reason for that is because it's basically a solo album from Edward Van Halen. It's ironic you made the analogy, Tony and Ed, about Wolf and his uh, the way he sort of cookie cuttered his whole program after the, you know, Van Halen 3 era of Edward Van Halen. He was he was born in 91, so he was about 7 years old when that album came out. So he grew up watching his father taking back control of the band Van Halen. So it's really a great analogy you made. That's why he's a solo artist in the way he does his albums. That's why he does it. Gets he gets the same vibe that his dad got. It's instilled in him, and that's what he's doing. Now, do I think it's better work? Not a freaking chance. That's not how great albums are made. One of the reasons Van Halen 1 is such a fantastic album, and the reason that sound is the sound, is not because of the Van Halen brothers. It's because of the way that thing was engineered and produced. Even the boys were shocked and taken back at how they sounded. The whole band was. And how that sound had been produced. It took them a minute to get used to it because they weren't used to sounding like that. That's not how they sounded live. So, well, let me take that back. That's how they sounded live because it was produced that way. However, back to the original statement, they didn't sound the same. And Edward was very vocal about that in several interviews when he was asked about how he felt about the sound of the original Van Halen albums. And his answers over the years, the decades, didn't really change. So Van Halen 3 is incredibly special. It reached number 4. It went gold. Even with Gary Cerrone, a guy, you know why they picked Gary, in my opinion, of why they used Gary? Because Gary had the ability to do all catalog, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did he do it great? No, it didn't work out good. We can all agree on that. It's not. Well, let me say this: there's some people who love Gary Cerrone and Van Halen. They're out there. They're few and far seen, but they're there. But he was made for extreme. I didn't even like the fact he cut his hair.
Yeah, me either.
He was made for extreme, and it's obvious.
Ed didn't like his outfits either. He didn't like the button-down shirt and the slacks.
No, he didn't. But, at that point, what we got was I think Anthony Michael, he played I think 3 songs on that whole album. All the rest was Ed.
Mm-hmm.
That was an Ed album. Okay, that was Edward doing what Edward wanted to do, and I'm glad he had someone else help him put his stuff together. And you can read about it in both ToneChaser. He talks about the influences that come in to help round out albums, and he really goes into it in Eruption. God, I forget the chapter, but I'll remember it. It's important to have an outside influence on your music. It just is, and it has proven to be that way in the entire Van Halen catalog, from start to finish.
Yeah, well, I think in the early days, though, except for a couple songs with some extra guitar layers there, that it was organic. I mean, it was just them in a room, and
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
fabulous.
I love Edward's work on Van Halen 3. His guitar work. It's a combination of everything on all previous albums. You can hear the licks, you can hear it. He just kept adding to his repertoire. He kept adding to the bullets in his gun. I find the album absolutely brilliant. Would it have been better with this or better with that? I don't even try to go there anymore, because I'll be honest with you guys. After 1984, the Van Halen world took a serious flip upside down. I did not embrace the Hagar. You guys know I didn't embrace it at all. My peer group was split quite literally down the middle. We lost the Red Rocker for all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
Sammy Hagar was freaking gone.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that. I was a big freaking Hagar fan.
Yeah.
His last tour was fantastic. And I personally felt that he was polluting the Van Halen band. That's how I took it at the time. Hey, that's how I took it at the time. I have grown to truly appreciate the Hagar era because it is incredible music. It sets the bar incredibly high. Some of the best solo work Edward Van Halen ever did is in the Hagar era. Some of the purest, most incredible, and the technology, his instrument, and all the equipment that they used was getting better and better and better. He not only got on the board, he's fucking still riding it. Okay, so I consider Van Halen 3 to be. I think Eddie deserved it. That's what I mean to say. I think Edward Van Halen deserved to make that album and do what it seemed he had struggled to do for the last 25 years before it.
Right.
So, so that as a Van Halen fan, that's the way I look at it. I remember when I said it before. I remember when Dave blew his voice out. It was on fucking 1982. Diver Down, Hide Your Sheep tour, Forum, Los Angeles. I swear to you, he had a signature scream. We all heard it, and I heard his voice crack for the first time, and I figured he was just fucking up. He was dancing around. He's an aerobic. He may as well be an aerobic instructor out there. Seriously, for 2 hours. I mean, it's crazy, crazy. But I got to watch him destroy himself for me and a whole bunch of you guys. It was priceless.
He did that.
And Sammy Hagar had a huge obstacle to overcome stepping into that shadow. Mm-hmm. History, it's interesting. At the time, I have gone back and forth over the band Van Halen for the last 40 years. But I've found that the end result is that history has played out, and we have been so blessed and fortunate to have such a variety of Van Halen.
Yeah.
Right.
Well said.
That is. Yeah.
I still want to say Judgment Day. for a Hagar era song, it's some of the most badass shit on the planet Earth. It
Right.
really is.
Yeah.
And at
And
the
Eddie
end,
was playing too good.
at the
Too good.
end of the day, it is it's Eddie and Alex on all of it.
Right.
You
Well,
know,
I'm in the camp. I refuse to take away from Michael Anthony's input, and
Oh,
we noticed when he was gone
yep.
that first and foremost was one of the main things that changed the structure and sound of the band Van Halen.
Yep.
And I truly feel that had Michael stayed around, we would have gotten a totally different. We would have certainly gotten a different path, but we'd have got another really great album out of those boys.
yeah, but it wasn't to be.
Nope.
No.
That's we dream about the Dave stuff, but we don't tend to dream of how it would have sounded and been had Mike, you know.
Oh, and Alice G, Dirty Water Dog is a kick-ass song.
Yes.
That's
All
one of
right.
the 4 singles that came off that album.
All
Right.
right, Charles. You know what time it is?
I have an
It is.
idea.
You have an idea. It is time for Nearly Impossible Van Halen Trivia. So it is time to hit the fridge. So everybody, make your break. We're going to take a break, and we're going to go to some trivia and stretch our legs. All right, so our question for tonight is nearly impossible. All right, but I think they're going to get it, and we may or may not. All right, let me show them what we're gonna give them tonight. We're gonna give you a pair Main Street picks. And that's the back of them. We're going to give you a million VH bucks, and we're going to throw you a Main Street window cling for your car or your laptop or your cooler. That's nice right there. But we'll be giving these away. There's a bunch of these, and they all are different. We're giving this one away tonight. So your Nearly Impossible Van Halen trivia question. All right, there it is. And we've talked all about this stuff tonight. So we kind of keep it in the ballpark, Charles. I like to. Anyway. All right, so should you be the winner, there's a trivia winner's email down below. You will email me your name and address. I'll mail you out that handsome Mean Street prize pack, courtesy of Mean Street. Jay Turner, Trey, can't wait to see you guys. Goodness. All right. Now, how this works, I'm going to ask this question. I'm going to show it on the screen, and you are going to answer over there in the chat. Okay? So the first correct answer that we see is going to be our winner. All right.
By the way, Polly Walnut's in the chat, you guys.
Paulie, what's up, bro?
What's up, Paulie? Lawnmower tapes, too.
Yeah, good to see Lawnmower.
Right on, bro.
Hope you're doing good, Paulie. Good to see you, man. All right. Okay, let's grab it. Good luck, everybody. Cool prize pack heading out the door tomorrow morning. I'll mail that out nice and early for you. Should get it first of the week, depending on where you are. I'll ship anywhere on planet Earth. My pleasure. All right, good luck. And get ready to type. And here we go. After Mitch Malloy's audition at 5150 in 1996, Eddie Van Halen gave Mitch an instrumental track as a parting gift. He later wrote lyrics to it and released it. Name that tune. Need all the words to answer this.
Everybody's thinking.
I see it.
I think I see it. Yep.
Mr.
Boom,
Mick.
Mr. Mick.
Score. Mr.
Hey,
Mick.
Mr. Mick.
That man knows his Van
Well
Halen.
played.
And
Right.
812 is right behind him with That's Why I Love You.
He was close, but
Yeah,
that's the same music.
same music. Now, so
Different lyrics.
Eddie gave him this, and he made a song out of it, but Eddie used it also later, and it almost made the album Van Halen 3, but was
It should have.
bumped at the last minute. Yeah. So good answer there, Ryan. That's Why I Love You. That's the Van Halen. That's their title. But Mitch's title, It's the Right Time, goes to Mr. Mick. You get the cool Mean Street prize pack.
Nice.
First one. Yeah. You
Nice.
get the first batch. These guys here on the panel haven't even gotten these yet. These things, Jay brought these over this afternoon. So, thank you, Jay. Thank you, Mr. Mick. Thanks all of you for playing along. We do this every Tuesday. Yeah, sometimes we make it really hard. Like I say, every 6 or 8 weeks, nobody gets it. Because like this week, Mr. Mick got it pretty quick. So I'll have to write it a little harder next week. And if they keep getting it quick, then I make it really hard and nobody gets it.
Hey, Dwight Bailey's in the chat. What's up?
What's
Hitman?
up, Dwight?
Good to see you, Dwight.
I don't have the shotgun sounds.
Did we say hello to Ronald? Ronald Allard?
Oh.
Good
Hey,
to see you,
Ronald.
Right on,
Hey,
bro.
See you,
Ronald.
man. Thanks for coming by. Yeah. So, Mitch Malloy, Charles, says that he felt he had an okay shot with Van Halen, and then he didn't hear anything at it. He saw that MTV thing with Dave like the rest of us did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Look, Van Halen was fortunate enough to have lightning strike twice. For them to think, to have the sheer gall that lightning would strike 3 times for them was a little bit, maybe a little bit of much.
Now,
So, you know,
should I add on that trivia question, Mitch Malloy's audition, Mitch Malloy's recorded audition, um, which a couple of songs have apparently leaked out, Panama and something else,
Mm-hmm.
of him, Mitch, doing those songs with them.
Well, that was, one of the reasons, again, why they tried to bring Mitch in. They needed someone who could cover the vast catalog, deal with it all, and come up with new music. Because the Van Halen brothers were always trying to come up with new music. That's their life. Mitch never had a chance, man.
But let's be hypothetical, Charles. Dude, so they were kind of reaching for straws. They ended up getting Gary Sharon. Let's say they got Mitch.
Mm.
Would he have been more accepted than Gary?
No, no one was getting accepted. And you know why? You know why? Because the songs were not as good as what the fans wanted. This album took a lot of negative impact. It took massive negative impact from the fans, even though it went gold and it was number 4. One of the singles went number 4. The album didn't go number 4. One of the singles went number 4. I think it was
Could have been Fire in the Hole.
no, it was
No. Without you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. And shit, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Anyway, they were screwed from the get-go. Whoever was trying to step in and do that, no.
So you don't think? But I think I try to put Mitch Malloy in that position. For me, I was kind. You say the record it did get ragged big time, but
Oh, big time.
I was more okay, Charles, with the record than I was with the live performance.
Oh, so
I mean,
That's
it was
very
him,
interesting.
yeah,
him
yeah.
That
up
was a
there.
very interesting.
No, I
interesting
mean, I
analogy.
was he just it does nothing. Him singing those songs and trying to enjoy it up there, you see, it just did. It didn't do it for me at all.
Well, there's a
At all.
reason that Sammy didn't do a good job singing Dave, and there's a reason Dave didn't do a good job singing Sammy.
To me, Gary's great with it, but he was just on the wrong stage. He had zero stage presence.
Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah.
Zero.
A lot of that was because
Yeah.
of the anticipation of the fans receiving it. I mean, he was just not received. He was not received.
No.
And
But
after Sammy and having watched the same shit go down, just a different band in a different era, 3 was not a charm.
Yeah, but
Fans were tired of it. They were turned off, and the songs were not as popular with the
Right.
mainstream. And that's really what it comes down to. Because had that album gone platinum, we'd be telling a different tale right now. But the songs
Yeah.
are not good. They're just not as good. And that's really what it comes down to. If you don't make the right songs and their songs are not popular, I don't care how accomplished and how much work you put into it and how good you are. You're only as good as, in the food industry, the chef industry, there's a saying, and it holds true. You're only as good as the last meal you cooked. And that holds to life. It holds to everything in a professional world. So the album was not received because the songs didn't hit the fans the way they wanted to. If the songs were better, I'll say that. Gary Sharon coming in there, if they'd have come out, we forget the vibe. But remember this last album from Extreme? Nuno's knocking it out of the fucking park.
yeah.
Gary is kicking it to the tens right now. He is kicking ass.
Yeah.
The band is kicking ass. You can't just take him and stick him in a band like Van Halen if you don't have the songs. And the reason that Extreme is kicking ass right now is not because, hey, they got back together and it's so fucking great. Nuno's the greatest. It's because the songs are kicking ass. And when the song kicks ass, then you start to notice all the peripheral shit and all the little licks after, because that's where your attention's drawn to. The reason is because the songs aren't the best. But
more interest.
That album more than I do other Van Halen material because of how special it is musically from Edward to us and the Van Halen boys.
Right.
When I say Edward, I mean Alex too. They're this, they're like this. And it's interesting, when Eddie was gone, so was Alex.
Yeah.
Which I hate to point out. That's a really sucky thing. I'm sorry, but that's how it is.
So it was a rough time,
and
late 90s.
And we don't talk about it, but Edward was going through some shit, and it was the pinnacle of his shit. And does it reflect in the album?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
you tell me.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Well,
you tell me.
Yeah.
I think 2004 was the pinnacle of the shit.
Yeah, you're right.
Not really. 98, he was still,
You're right. You're absolutely right, Ed.
His attitude and his personal life wasn't too bad in 98.
Yeah,
and his playing was still good, but I think what Tony was getting at was that if Mitch was in the band, the shows would have probably gone better because Mitch, has a better stage presence, and he would have done the Van Halen the classic Van Halen songs pretty well, probably better than Gary. And but you're right, the songs from Van Halen 3 he would have had to sing as well, which probably wouldn't have gone over well.
He needed to reconnect with the fans the way that Sammy did after Dave.
Right.
Lightning struck. When I said lightning struck twice, that was a fucking miracle.
Yeah.
Miracle. And the only reason it happened was because the music was good and the fans embraced it. They embraced those songs.
But how's Mitch's songwriting compared to Gary's? Because I'm sure Gary had a lot of input in obviously the lyrics and the music of Van Halen 3. What would Mitch's influence?
Never got a chance.
Yeah,
Mitch,
what would his influence?
Mitch. I mean, Mitch just never had a chance.
Yeah.
Gary got a chance. The proof is in the history.
Yeah,
I do think. I really think that if they would have hired Mitch Malloy, everything that was happening, it was what Charles said it was, where it didn't matter who it was, they're doomed to fail. All right, whoever gets that job.
Well, wait a minute.
But
fail. Remember,
hang on,
big success.
But
I mean,
what I'm saying is, Mitch was, to most rock fans, unknown. Gary was known. Either you liked Extreme or you didn't. More than words. That's what most people thought of instantly when okay, so, and that's what your average, unless you knew Extreme, that's so that he was known. And I think that had something to do with, that's the Van Halen's. They got some dude from sorry, Ed, but a T-shirt band.
It's all right.
I mean, not that Extreme. I mean, they're a great band. I'm not saying that, but a lesser known band. The point being, my whole point here is known is the word, and Mitch Charles unknown. So I think it would have been doomed to fail, as you said, but I think it would have looked a little nicer, and they'd have made a couple more shekels at the box office with the nicer looking mane flying in the light.
I can't believe he cut his hair. I think that was a screw up right from the get-go.
Right.
But what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What
I
are you gonna
mean, but that would have been interesting, Mitch, in that band because he can sing like hell. But I think him coming in here as the blonde dude, virtually unknown, you know, it would have lasted a while. But as you said, it was, yeah, too much stuff in personal lives all around.
So other than all right, so we've talked a lot about Van Halen 3, obviously, um, and we've mentioned the Sammy era and the Dave era. What about the Wolf era? What 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 changes and so forth do you think Wolf brought to the band?
I think he resurrected Edward Van Halen and dragged him out of a room and made him socialize and get back into the public because I think he would have turned into a recluse
Hmm.
had Wolf not done what he did.
And I call it the Wolf era. We call it the Wolf era because it's not
Yeah. Oh,
the
yeah.
Dave era 2 or whatever you want to 3 or whatever you want to call it.
No,
It's pretty much Van Halen 4. And it's the Wolf era, and it's him saying, "Hey, why don't we get Dave back in the band?" And it's him convincing his father, like you said, Charles, and resurrecting him and get
Edward was
you
depressed.
know,
He went
yeah,
into a state of depression after
yeah,
Van Halen 3 that was fucking terrible.
yep,
It was terrible. It was hard for his friends and his family to live through it. Um, Read Eruption. It's fucking well
yeah.
documented.
And then
And,
personally with Valerie, splitting up with
yes,
Valerie and all that,
yes,
everything was bad.
yes. And if you want to get a real different perspective on it, read Valerie's book
Hmm.
and specifically the take of that period of time. It'll give
Yeah,
you a really good mirror on their person. If you're into the family thing of them and what they actually went through, some of those facts, it's a good read.
yeah. So
the
Wolf brought him back into social media, into social
Brought them back in
media.
the world.
I mean, and look how many times they were on television. Holy crap! You had a Jimmy Kimmel thing. You had the American Music Awards. No, what was it? What was the one where Taylor Swift introduced them?
Uh,
It
uh,
wasn't the Grammys. It was
uh, oh shit.
anyway. They were all over TV. Ellen show.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
Look,
what
had
what
Eddie. Go ahead. Go ahead.
what Wolf brought to Van Halen ultimately was another album and 3 tours.
yes,
That's right.
Had Wolf not done what Charles said, we
And
would have not 07, 12, 15
right.
plus we would not have gotten a different kind of truth or the live album.
Right.
now, had Edward lived, I feel that him and Val would have gotten back together. I think that would have actually occurred, and we would have gotten. We'd had another album by now, certainly,
Yeah, more music.
and we would have another variation of fucking Van Halen.
Probably, yeah.
I don't think him and and I let me rephrase what I was about to say. I would never have counted Sammy out for a get to get back together with the Van Halen boys in history. I think that all things can occur in rock and roll. Some of the things that Dave has said to those boys and those boys have said about Dave, it's real hard to imagine them ever speaking again. And they didn't do it once; they did it for decades.
Yeah.
So it's
Mitch,
just
good to see you, sir.
right on, Mitch. It's
Hey,
good to see
Mitch.
you, brother. You rock. It's just a absolutely crazy roller coaster ride of rock. Crazy. I wish Eddie would have just lived longer. That really just.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, Charles, and I'm gonna give you my answer to it. I really like it. I don't look at the negatives of it, but I'm gonna ask you what, as far as the music and how they make music together, the Wolf era. How do you like that music with Wolf on bass and vocals like that?
The problem that I have as a Van Halen fan, and I know some of you guys out there are going to just be like, yep. Van Halen is the Roth era to me, sound wise. That's Van Halen. Okay? Everything else that came after that is a version of Van Halen. I grew to really I like the Hagar era now. There's some songs that I consider to be just great. Some songs I still can't stand. I've said it before. Dave didn't sing no love songs. He ain't talking about love. Sammy, shit, he'll camp out on them because
Yeah.
that's his thing. It always has been. And
Yeah.
I liked when he sang love songs. Your love is driving me crazy. That's a
It's a great
fucking
song.
great love song.
Oh,
That
yeah,
is
yeah.
Sammy Hagar straight up. Fuck yes.
Yep.
But it wasn't Van Halen that I was used to. So for me, as a Van Halen fan from the Roth era, nothing is ever the same. It's never as good. It's always another version. And even though Gary never, Mitch never really got a shot, if they didn't have, they better have some kick-ass songs, or I wouldn't have even given them. I would have just been wanting to hear Eddie play guitar and hear Alex play drums. If those are the only two members of that band who were from the original era, Roth era, that's who I would be interested in. And I would have to accept it. Like, there was a dramatic difference when Wolfgang joined Van Halen. Dramatic. It seems like such a small thing, but the harmony that Michael used to do was Van Halen.
Mm-hmm.
Period. It was one of the major portions of the whole band structure, everything. And when he left, it's fucking over. It was over.
Yeah.
So we have to you got to just love Edward, and you got to love Alex, and you just love what they've given us, and you just pick out what you really, really love the most and enjoy it.
Yep.
What I've enjoyed more and more and more is the Wolf era. I think that even though Mike's not there, Wolf's vocals, even then, are awesome.
He did
The
an
bass
incredible
play,
job.
hang on. The bass playing is there. You know, the fact that he came into the band after Van Halen had a very long hiatus, returning with their original lead singer. And Eddie's 16 he was 16 when he began. So in that version of Van Halen, we got to watch Wolf for 7 or 8 years grow up, improve. All the while, his dad is improving, getting more healthy, got
Mhm.
sober, getting more healthy. From 2012, the guitar playing had gotten really, really, really good compared to years past. And 2015, it was even better. You know, I mean, so the whole 8 years of that Wolf era, when I look back, yeah, I loved the Hagar era while it was happening, you know, because I'm a Van Halen fan. But looking back now, I can honestly say, other than the songs that they wrote with Sammy, and those songs in the Sammy era, other than the songs, the Wolf era is my second favorite. This era being the first,
Mm-hmm.
but the Wolf era, I loved that. I love how he began, you know. 16 years old, never been on stage, and in you know made a record. That's all Wolf, on that record. Wolf's on Van Halen. I mean it's and to me, yeah, it's not Mike. It's not, but it sounds awesome. And it sounded
So,
awesome live as it
sounds good.
sounds on that record, you know. Now the
Hmm.
caliber of songs off a different kind of truth and how they were accepted in the world and how they ended up might not be what earlier is, but it's still
Think
goes
about
back
this.
to
What if, what if a different kind of truth had Michael instead of Wolf? What
I was
if
just
the
thinking
four of
that.
them came back together and actually put that album out? I promise you, the album would have been received by the fans a whole lot warmer.
Oh
oh
yeah.
yeah, oh
Promise
yeah,
you, it
oh
would
Oh
yeah.
have
yeah.
done a lot better in the market
And
and made him a lot more money.
Eddie took that chance just to have his kid in the band.
Well,
But
I
that
well,
that's a great point though. Had they come back after
yeah,
all those years with Mike in
Right.
hand,
yeah. It would
it would
have,
have
as
been
long
huge.
as well as you know. The thing about it is Mike at that time, even though Dave's voice was straining, Mike was on point,
He could have
and
helped it a
so
lot.
it could have been one of the biggest reunions in rock history. And the album that came out of it could have been incredibly huge, even with because Dave's lyrics are the killer shit. I don't give a shit. Even today, he's got it, man.
Well,
Some of the most
I think
interesting lyrics in rock.
Yep.
here's the thing. I think that because it's Eddie's son, and he was so young, and it was so awesome. I think if it had a been another bass player, you know, um, let's say they got Flea and Dave came back.
It would have been weird. It would have
Would
been
have been
weird.
weird. Would have
And
been
we'd
weird.
have lost,
Right,
and that would have been
right,
wrong
but
because we'd have
and
lost the Red Hot
stop
Chili
right
Peppers.
there.
Fuck that.
You stop. My point is, it would have been weird. They that it was Wolf. It's Eddie's son, so nobody thought anything, and it
Well,
would it had they got Mike in '07 and come back out and hit the road like that. But because it was Wolf there and his son, it was still huge. I don't think
Yeah. Yeah.
anybody
well,
blinked.
Van Halen was on tour. It was huge, no matter
But
who was playing bass.
it
But
left a.
but when they've already proven to themselves, they bring in somebody else, some whoever, and it
Mhm.
didn't go well. You know.
It left a bad taste in my mouth how they did Mike though. That wasn't right.
Absolutely wrong.
It was not right at all.
That is Ed, that is one of my single big. I'm going to share this. My single biggest gripe with Edward Van Halen.
That
I
was
have one
my.
or two.
Yep.
Is
Yep.
that right
Yeah.
there? The way
Me
that
too.
Mike was dissed because as a fan, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm calling bullshit on that. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. The way they treated him sometimes, I didn't
His
like it
input
at
in
all.
that band was irreplaceable. Period. History's proved it.
And he flew the Van Halen flag lots of times where he just sat back
Massive
and
clap.
whatever happened, he took the high road and
Yeah, massive
he
clap.
went with whatever was happening with the band and everything and
It could be
um,
argued he showed the most class out of any member of that band.
he did. And if Edward would have gone with another bass player, a hired gun, so to speak,
Nope.
instead of Wolf, it wouldn't have worked out. Kind of like Bon Jovi has. What's that guy's name? I don't even know the guy's name.
Bon Jovi
No,
is
no,
not
no,
Bon
no, no,
Jovi,
no,
Rich.
no,
Hang
no. The
on,
bass
Charles.
player they hired. The guy with the glasses.
Yeah.
He kind of steps back, and it's all about Bon Jovi. It's all
Bon
about the
Jovi.
other band members, and he's kind of in the background. He's a band member, but no, he's not.
Yeah.
On the posters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't
Yes.
think I don't think A Different Kind of Truth would have done that well uh, if they had hired somebody else.
No. No.
And
You're right. There was sort of
and
a
it worked out
Walker
with
family thing going on.
yeah, it worked out with Wolf.
Yeah.
It did. It worked
Yeah.
out pretty well with Wolf, and like you said, I think it would have worked out a lot better with Mike. But
It would have been unbelievably cool, and it would
yes,
have changed Van Halen history. The whole landscape would be completely different.
and Wolf would have still gone on his own, only earlier. You know, he wouldn't have been touring with his dad. He would have probably started writing music earlier and formed his own band earlier,
Possibly.
and maybe
Possibly.
even
Interesting to think where he would be if he hadn't done a
right.
hiatus in the band Van Halen before he went on a solo career.
But I'm sure he learned a lot about performing in front of audiences.
Well, yeah,
With Van Halen, obviously,
yeah.
he got thrown into the fire. Here you go, go out
Well,
there.
it's interesting, Ed, because he is sort of breaking the mold. You're your typical child of a rock star. Even musically gifted children of rock stars don't typically, even Julian Lennon. Remember Julian Lennon?
Yep,
John Lennon's son?
yep.
Incredibly gifted musician. Did like one album, was it? Two albums, something like that. He was he was gone. But his impact was huge because he was so talented.
Hmm.
But that's rare. There's lots of musicians have tons of kids who are
Yeah,
fantastic musicians, but
yeah.
they don't do what Wolf did. They don't
I,
do it.
I just heard a really bad song from Sean Lennon and McCartney's kid there. I forget his name, but they got together and did a song and oh, not good, not
I
good
was
at all.
listening to something the other day. They called it world fucking music. And let me tell you what, none of it was real. There was nothing real. I was not listening to a single real voice or a real instrument playing. It was all synth. It was just
Ugh,
made, and it had no heart. It was horrible.
garbage.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
And I just want to say that needs to stop. That is just not cool. No, there's too many instruments out there. There's too many people who can play them. Good God, man.
AI is taking over.
No, it's not.
No, no, no. Don't say that. All
It'll be a
right.
better
I
job.
hope not.
All right, guys and girls. What time is it? All right. So the whole the whole idea for tonight before we wind down is these eras that we aren't too fond of, we seem to get in the Van Halen world, seem to get caught a lot of times by accident in these debates on eras. Okay. And they're all fantastic. They're all Van Halen. We all should, as Van Halen fans, give the eras that you don't listen to some time and some love. When you go to the beach this summer, take a different kind of truth with you. Okay? Take Van
Yeah.
Some of
Halen
his best
3
work.
with you.
Some of his best guitar licks.
Take that instead of 1984.
Yeah.
Okay? Take it instead of 5150. You know.
Stay frosty.
Yeah, and I mean, you always there. We always go back and reach out, and I mean, I was on a big rat kick not too long ago, man. I mean, just, around the clock, the whole catalog.
That could happen. That can truly
Yeah.
happen to
I mean,
anybody right there.
but so there are some that I prefer more than others, but it's still all awesome. Is the point. So
Yep.
um,
It's still Edward and Alex.
it is. So we'll be specific and we'll say give the Gary era and the Wolf era some more love.
Wipe
It
some dust
really
off of
needs
it and Put it on there. Put it in the player.
And crank it.
Yeah, crank it.
Yeah. Because we're going to talk a whole lot more about Van Halen 3 around here, Charles. And certainly a different kind of truth. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, everybody, we're gonna wind things down for a Tuesday evening. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. Let me give you guys a little heads up on what's gonna be happening here on the channel. Saturday nights, Show Me Your Pick. That's the name of the show. We get together and we talk guitar picks and rock memorabilia around here. Show off a lot of cool stuff. Drumsticks keep popping up around here. Show you a bunch of stuff this weekend. Coolness stuff. But we're going to get together Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern right here on this channel. And we're going to celebrate the music of the Cars. There we are.
Cars are cool, man.
Yeah, that'll be 9 p.m. this Saturday, April the 20th. And for those of you who partake or indulge, however you want to call it, it's 420 this Saturday, Charles.
Wow. Well, that is a coincidence.
Yeah, it just dawned on me. 420. Okay. Yeah. I know there's a lot of people in the world that make a big deal out of that day.
Wait, are you telling me that I have to be stoned on Saturday?
I'm not saying that.
I just got to take like 9 bong rips and just get wasted and. Well, right, damn it! If that's what you want, fuck.
I would be willing to say that there will be 1 or 2 of viewers that just might be. They just might be.
Nice Boston area band.
Yeah, that's right, Ed.
I'm going to tell you how you know that they're doing that is when they start to type food emojis in the chat.
Will there be pie? That's all I want to know. That's all
Wait a second. I do that a lot. I type a lot of food emojis in chats.
You talk about food a lot.
I do. Uh-oh.
I had to listen to you for 2 weeks talk about making fucking chili. That was rough.
And you didn't even get a taste of it.
No, I didn't get a hit, but I went and got some damn chili.
Yeah, it made you want to eat something.
Like that song Cheeseburger in Paradise by Jimmy Buffett. You listen to that song, I kid you not, you will eat a damn cheeseburger.
He's a chef, though.
Right.
By trade. You have to understand. So we can have these types of talks.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we'll be talking the Cars on 420 and talking food probably too. Yep. All right. Let's see. All right, Jay Turner, thanks for the new Mean Street prize packs. There are more Mean Street stuff to go around, and we will be sharing the wealth. Yeah, some really cool stuff. And go check out Mean Street. The links are down below. They got a Facebook page and a merch store. I got both those links down there. You can go check them out. They got a bunch of cool shirts. And if you buy something from Mean Street's merch store, send me a picture. I want to see you in it. Jay's got some really cool stuff over there. So you'll dig it. You will. All right, kids, leave a thumbs up here on the video before you leave. And I want to say thank you to everybody for being here. Thanks for being subscribed here. If you come every week, every show, I know who you are. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. These guys appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
We have so much of a good time
Absolutely.
each week with each other here on the panel, plus with you and each other. And it really does. It makes for the highlights of our week. So thank you all. You know who you are. Um, yeah, we'll see you guys right back here next week. We got some Mammoth shows coming up to talk about Mammoth WVH. Charles, Mammoth they're about halfway done with those shows in Europe. They got 2 good solid weeks and about 5 countries left to blanket before they come back stateside in May 2nd, May 4th. They start up near Ed and work their way down the East Coast all the way to Daytona, I think. And then they pop back up to Chattanooga and have a night there with Andy. So,
That's right.
yeah.
That's right.
But they'll be back here. They got a couple more weeks of Europe dates, and then they'll be back stateside early May. We're halfway through April right now, so a couple good more weeks. But everybody, thanks so much again. We love you guys. Any last words, Charles Greene?
Guys, this is Halenville. Around here, it doesn't matter if you're north, south, east, or west. Every road will lead you to some Van Halen, guys. Be well. Have a great week. Don't forget to rock on, you guys. We'll see y'all later this week, too. Be well.